All right, guys, we are live again. Sorry, I'm a wee bit late with this live. I've just been up to my eyes with work and getting things sorted out. Anyway, in regards to the poll that I put up, I think it was a few days ago, maybe Friday. It's in regards to diet breaks and how they can benefit and who would likely benefit most from using the term of diet breaks. Okay, so first and foremost, it would be highly effective. I feel it would be highly effective for the guys who have a lot of weight to lose. The bigger guys, all dependent. The reasons for that is because with diet breaks, it it makes it easier. There's so many other benefits, but we'll get into that in a second. But it just makes it easier for the guys who have a lot of weight to lose, rather than spending 8, 9 months thinking that far down the line that you have to be in a diet for 8 or 9 months to lose £100 or whatever it be. With the term of using diet breaks, I feel it sort of makes that easier. It doesn't feel like a long struggle uphill journey. You still will be able to break out of the diet frame of mind and live life a wee bit. Okay, so the reasons why is there's so many other reasons. There's so many reasons why. Obviously, the bigger guys who carry a lot of weight and are struggling to lose that, the first thing foremost that they have to point out the obvious is that their eating habits and the way they consume a lot of food is, it's not good. Okay, and that's one of the main reasons why they are as big as they are. So to address that further, the guys coming from eating pretty much a lot of food and a lot of sugar and refined sugar foods are going to find it very difficult to go extreme into cutting like calories way down, cutting out carbohydrates. Like it's going to have a real struggle psychological, and for me that is why a lot of people struggle to lose weight long term, because they go too restrictive, they're too extreme in one or the other. So to help with that, this could benefit the guys who find themselves in that situation. And how to do a diet break is simple. You can break it down for as long as you want. So for talk's sake, if you had £100 to lose and you thought that would maybe take you, say, I don't know, 9 months, 8 months, whatever it be, there's a long time involved in it, okay? The high probability of you sticking a diet out for 8 to 9 months, considering your background towards food, is highly, it's not really, how can I say it? It's going to be very difficult for you to adhere to that length of period of dieting. So with that said, diet breaks is probably the way forward for you if that is what you're embarking on. If that's the way you are right now, you really struggle, and all you seem to do is look up at an endless task, an endless mountain for you to lose this weight, and even that is off-putting. So try this wee protocol. I'm going to get into how to do it now. Try this wee protocol even for a while to see how it can affect you and whatever else. But anyway, I would suggest that I use it a lot for clients who are bigger and carrying a lot of excessive weight. Taking them from the way they normally eat now to plunging them into something how I would eat, or the guys who are relatively lean, how they would eat, it's not sustainable. It's not, they have to think about this. It is not sustainable for you to go from one extreme to the very other. You're going to have to find a playing ground in the middle, and I feel this diet break is the way to implement that. So the benefits are simple. One, the scientific one, is going to protect your metabolism. Okay, so what I mean by that is if you lower calories, if you're taking in calories and you lower them from, say, for talk's sake, your maintenance level is 3,000 and you reduce them down to like 67% while you're dieting, that would bring you down to 2,000 calories. If you were doing that for 9 months, sooner or later, in between that time, your body's going to catch on to that level of energy intake. So therefore, it's going to slow down your metabolism. It's going to slow down the metabolism so much that you're going to stall in losing weight. Another one would be, it's going to support the sustainability and the longitude that you can sustain this diet as such. So by doing that, I would strongly recommend diet breaks. How you do these diet breaks is entirely up to you. We can get into that in a wee second. Another one is going to preserve muscle. Obviously, everybody knows the more muscle we have on our frame, the more calories we can consume. So therefore, you're going to be able to eat a lot more food while you're dieting. You don't have to restrict yourself so low that it's unbearable, unsustainable. So it's going to protect your muscle mass. And then obviously the big one for me is the psychological benefits. Dieting is hard. Dieting is very hard to do. A lot of people talk about willpower and everything. I'm going to be one to say that willpower is nonsense. It has a fuse. Everyone who starts off on a diet is full. That initial dopamine hit of they're all fully motivated. That goes away within a week or two, or maybe even 3. They're all enthused at the beginning. What happens when that leaves? That is what willpower is. It's going to leave. So therefore, to try to avoid that and offset that, we can bring back your psychological effect of, at the end of this, you're going to have a few more calories to eat. You're going to go back to maintenance level. And the cons, obviously, it's going to probably prolong your diet period, the period of time that you're actually dieting. That's probably the only real con. The studies show that over a 20-week period compared to a 30-week period, the weight loss on certain individuals were the same, if not more, in the guys who took diet breaks. So on that, it's not for everyone. Before I go any further, it's not for everyone. A lot of people like to go the cold turkey, as I call it. But again, that's not sustainable. I know a lot of guys who are losing the same 10 to 15 pounds over and over and over again, and that's simply because they can't crack the code on this. Diet breaks is something that I would use, even on myself. I like to go into a bit of a deficit. Sometimes when I go back into maintenance level, I overdo it, as everyone will, and then that's what brings me back into a diet phase. It's actually very good for your health to transition between the two. Again, metabolism reasons, I can easily sustain eating 3,000 calories a day without gaining much weight. When I'm dieting, I would drop it down to whatever the hell I like. So diet breaks, when and how? I would do diet breaks depending on you and depending on each individual. It's hard to really say, but the diet breaks, you can do 2 weeks on a really aggressive diet. So if you were maintaining at 3,000 calories, you can go really aggressive into something like 1,800 calories in the diet and then transition back to your maintenance. The more and more you do this, try to understand the more weight you lose, the more maintenance calories, your calories come down as well. You can't just keep them back to 3,000. You're going to eventually, because you're losing weight in the aggressive period of dieting, you will, obviously your maintenance calories, the amount of calories that you need just to survive and to do all your daily functions, is going to reduce as well. Okay, so with that, I would say it all comes down to the person and how they see it. A lot of people, me personally, I like to go on an aggressive diet for 4 to 5 weeks and then transition back to maintenance should I need to, then for maybe say 2 weeks. And in that maintenance, I'm just as equal as I am when I'm dieting. I'm very strict on myself. I try to not overspill, not overdo it. The reason for that is because if you have more weight to lose, you do not need to be going back into a calorie surplus as such and gaining weight. You're just making the uphill struggle even harder. Right? So me personally, depending on the individual and depending on their background and their behaviors and everything else, I would need to know more about the person. But 4 or 5 weeks on an aggressive diet and then maybe a week or 2 on maintenance level, and then transition back into another 4 or 5 weeks of an aggressive diet. The reason for that, if you can imagine an aggressive diet, if you lost 10 pounds in 4 weeks, and then while you transition back into maintenance level, you're either going to stay where you are, which you should, but a lot of people spill over and you know, grab the pizza and grab the soda drinks and grab everything else. But they might gain 1 or 2 pounds. So in total, they've lost 8 pounds in 5.5, 6 weeks. And then they transition back into a diet. They do that again. And then another 6.5 weeks or 5.5, 6 weeks, they've lost another 8 pounds. And do you see how this would actually accumulate into a lot of weight loss? And again, if you do it correctly, you will be able to sustain your weight loss at the end of the diet period. Once you hit your goal, say 50 pounds or whatever it be, that could only take a matter of 15 weeks, 12, 15 weeks, which is the go-to for dieting. You are going to likely sustain that because of these wee diet breaks that you sprinkled in over the top of this, rather than being totally restrictive for 12 to 15 weeks. A lot of people just rebound out the back of that and gain that weight back, or a lot of it back anyway, and then find themselves in that vicious circle where they're just spiraling down out of control. So why don't you try these diet breaks? I would strongly suggest them only for the guys who are big and carrying a lot of weight. Try that one. So guys, if there's any questions or anything at all, put them in the comments here. Hit me a PM. I'm a resident coach in the group. I'm here to help, and I just want to make sure that, you know, everyone's quite clear on that. Todd Newman. Right, guys, that's me. I'm going to log off. If you have any questions, again, before I go, the diet break is not the be all and end all. It is not. There are so many ways that you can lose weight, so many ways that you can train, or so many ways that you can move, you know, in order to lose weight and build muscle, all the rest. But in this instance, I'm referring this to the bigger guys who have a lot of weight to lose. Try to incorporate some form of diet breaks, or at least refeeding in there. Okay, right, I'm going to shoot off. Any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you.